Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Beyond versus Justice Lord Superman. Does it say what they're from? Batman Beyond 2.0. I don't know anything about this because I don't read the Batman Beyond comics. I don't know anything about his green suit, but I do know that Superman has had this costume before, and it is one of my absolute favorite looks for Superman. I think it's wonderful, and I like Batman Beyond still, so I had to get the 2-pack, and I figured I'd review it for you guys. So, good news is they kind of look awesome. Bad news is it's mostly reused parts that aren't great, but it might be okay. So, let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. Of course, before we look at the figures, I do want to take a quick look at my package. It is not the best looking package, I would say, this time, because there's so much real estate devoted to the figures, and they don't have that much color other than Batman. Nothing you can do about that, I think, other than having a nicer background, but then you'd wash out the figure, so it's just not the most exciting package. But it's fine, it's perfectly adequate. There's a whole lot of black on here, and I think they could have probably made the names bigger. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. For inbox collectors, I don't know how picky you guys are about the way they look. But yeah, this is nice. I like this. It doesn't show the right Batman Beyond. And Superman looks really young here, but it's still a much better look overall than the solid drabness of the front. But that is what it is, so... oh well. Okay, let's take a look at these figures. Let's do a quick question of the day. This is a Superman relate... no, we'll do both. Okay, so Superman question is this not like one of the absolute best looks for Superman ever? Let me know what you guys think. I'm not a super... I think it's one of his absolute best. I think the black and white with the little bits of red. So like I said, mostly reused parts, but not completely. So we're just going to run the whole review like we normally would. Batman Beyond stands roughly, let's just call it 7 inches to the top of his skull. That's going to be about 18 centimeters for Mr. Kent here. We have about 18.5 centimeters, and that's going to be about 7 1/8, 7 3/16, something like that. Here he is up against Darwin. Definitely a different scale. And same thing here, of course, because that's just how scaling works. All right, so aesthetically, let's just run it right here. Like I said, mostly reused parts, and that's fine. The paint job on Batman is clean enough. It's not great. You can see there's not as much green here, as opaque as it could be. Right here, it's very nice and bright because there's extra paint pooling in between the muscles. But up here, it's a little faint. Same thing here on the glove. It's not terrible. The chest looks pretty good. The face is clean. And then the lines on the wings, they're clean enough. It's definitely fine. There's nothing special about it. This is a little crooked. Nothing on the back at all. Looks cheap as hell. It's okay. It's a cheap repaint. Does it look good enough? I guess. It'll look okay on a shelf, but if you actually look at it up close, it's pretty underwhelming. For Superman, I think they actually made this body that is definitely getting played out look pretty good here. The paintwork is clean enough, but it is super lazy. Again, sculpt work doesn't match the paintwork, just like on Batman. But the paintwork is clean enough. Thinking this is a new crotch piece. It's clean enough that it's carrying it. It's okay. The S is clean enough because it's separate pieces. Cape is nice and white. Neck area looks like butts. Again, it's okay. It's a cheap repaint that's probably not good enough technically, but if you put them on the shelf and don't look at them too close, they're going to look pretty good. If you look pretty close, they look pretty bad, especially Batman's crotch being a different color. So, not great. There's one last thing I want to mention, which is I love it. It's windswept, but it's not like all the way out of the way and in the way of other figures. It's all right. However, unless this version of Superman has a very asymmetrical cape, which you can tell me if that's the case. If I'm wrong, great. I'm happy to know it. But look how long this side of his cape is. It's a very long cape. It would definitely be dragging on the floor. And on this side, it's only that long. So I get that they're going for the windswept look, but it needs to still be... I'm assuming, again, that the cape is even. If it's not, if it's meant to be short on one side, if it hangs off-centered or something, fine. To have one side be ridiculously long and one side be ridiculously short. Otherwise, it's a decent... I did want to say, I said Batman's face was good. Superman's face is pretty damn good. It's one of the better Superman faces we've gotten. The eyes look great. The skin tone's acceptable. The hair is shaded well enough. I mean, it's a little stylized, I guess, but I think it's a really nice head sculpt and paint job. It looks good. It looks nice. So I'm gonna go 6 out of 10 for the aesthetic. I think it'll pass, but if you look close, they're really not very good. Now, as far as accessories go, okay, we have 2 kind of clenchy hands that come on Batman in the package, and you get 2 open hands with his claws out. That's okay. You get his little batarangs, which look okay, I guess. They're a little chunky, but whatever. Superman has the 2 fist hands, then he gets 2 clenchy hands. That's all reasonable enough. Of course, we get our DC display stands. Can't not have those. We do get the 2 collector cards, which match the back of the box, and they also match the big card that we have. So we have 3 versions of this artwork. 1 on a card, 1 on a big card, and then 1 on the box. And then we have the inside of the box again on the back of the card. I don't know why all these paper goods are being included. There's so many lines now that are including paper goods that just offer no value. But you do get that, and so if you wanted to add this to, they give you this base, which looks like dark chocolate brownies, kind of, with some metal parts sticking out. So you can set this in here, and it looks ridiculous because the rocks don't match at all. I don't know what they were thinking, but we have the very cool gray-blue background with the reddish-brown rocks in the front. It just looks silly. It's ridiculous, and if you wanted to put this on there, I guess fine, but it doesn't match the figures, or at least that doesn't, so I don't know what's going on anymore. These companies are just doing random stuff. It makes no sense. Accessory-wise, 5 out of 10. Some hands and some batarangs. It's whatever. It's crazy what these companies are doing, if you ask me. Why are so many companies including cards that don't need to be included? Whatever. All right, articulation. Double ball peg does allow Batman to work pretty well. His neck is nice. He can get some nice posing out of it. The wings, let's just do this. It's the same giant gaping hole on his back that he had before, and now he has 2 wings that you can pose if you want to, which, I don't know. I think that the whole wing thing is kind of ridiculous because they're very small, but they're there, and I guess they're okay. Shoulders, we have the ball peg with the cap. Moves around a little bit. Shoulder range is fine. No real problem there. Full rotation. Bicep swivel is okay. Double jointed elbow, not the prettiest thing, but really good range. So these are in the way. So that's fine. Maybe we'll leave them down, I guess, for now. Yeah, that's okay. And wrists are on giant ball hinges, so they work okay. Diaphragm joint, not bad. It doesn't really lean forward. Doesn't lean in a lot in any direction, but it'll probably do. It's very basic. Hips going forward. Limited by the shape of the diaper. That is unfortunate for sure. Going back, we get a little bit of range. Going out to the side, plenty of range, no problem there. Thigh swivel, basically non-existent. Double jointed knee, plenty of range. Proportioning is not absolutely terrible. It is okay. And then for the ankle, you get a giant ball peg, which gives you lots of range, but these figures are still very difficult to stand up because ratcheted. Very hard to find a neutral stance. Toe hinge is very loose and very far back on the foot. Not a great set of articulation, but it's there, so like you'll be able to pose it some if you put a little effort into it. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world, but it's not especially good. So Batman, we will give him a 7 for McFarlane Toys. Superman, I'm guessing is going to be the same thing. There's not enough new here to really change it. His head looks up and down well enough. The side, it's okay. It leans, it rotates. It'll do. Shoulders, have the ball peg and the cap. Range is decent. Full rotation, bicep swivel. That's all fine. Double jointed elbow. I'm going kind of quick because we've seen this all before. Double jointed elbow works fine. Plenty of range, not the best looking thing in the world. Wrists are on ball hinges. Ab crunch on this guy. Doesn't lean forward at all, but otherwise works pretty well. Lower torso, better range. It'll do. It's not great, but it'll do. And then the hips, his crotch is a different finish, by the way, also. His hips go out to the side, but they're not really strong enough to fight the diaper. The tiny legs on this body are a little funny, especially when you go out like this. They really stand out as being tiny, but we've seen this body before. So basic range going forward and back, not much. Thigh swivel, basically non-existent again. Double jointed knee is heavily ratcheted this time. I don't know why. Look how tiny the thighs are. They're so little. This sculpt would look so much better if his thighs weren't miniature. but you get decent range out of the knees. Then the ankles, same thing, ball hinge, a little bit less range, still heavily ratcheted. Still not great. And the toe hinge, also too loose and too far back. Definitely not good articulation. It's going to be about a 7 for this line. It definitely could be a lot better. Okay, and now it's time for the cake rating. His sticks out in a weird way, but look at that. Look at that. It sticks out quite a lot. It's very centered, so it's kind of squished. He's flexing. I think he's flexing his cakes. This Superman's going to get an 8 on the cake scale. If it was a little bit of a better shape, it would be okay. It would be better, but he's got some cake on him, so I'll give him that. And then this Batman has negative cake, I think. I think he actually has divots there, so he's going to get a -1 on the cake scale. Not the best set of cake there. All right, and now it's time for a final verdict. Really, if you're buying this set, you have to like the basic look of it and be okay with it being a really cheap repainted set with crappy accessories and average sculpts and articulation. I knew that's what it was going to be going in, but I like the look of the Superman, and I can live with this look here. It stands out, so I'm personally okay with it. Objectively, it's just cheap and okay at best. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 6 out of 10. If you really like the look, go ahead and grab it. There's nothing surprising here. Some of the things they've done well, and the rest is just more run-of-the-mill McFarlane toys. It's nothing special at all. Want to be clear. Personally enjoy it, but I can't say objectively that it is all that worth enjoying. So it's going to come down to personal preference. So there it is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.